How's it going, guys? Matt with Motorworks here, and I think I got a little shafted on this one. Just a little bit. I got a decent bike, but there are some just minor issues that I didn't do my homework. I didn't listen to previous videos that I personally made, especially the video I made on buying a used bike. I didn't go with enough information and enough education on the subject, or the subject being this bike. And it kind of bit me a little bit, and maybe I can pass on my experience with this one to you guys. So this bike is a 2013, and a couple of things that it has on it, I don't think I went over what it completely has on here. So it's a 2013 ZX14, obviously. It has a full exhaust system, and it's a single exit exhaust, which if you know anything about bikes that have dual exhausts, that's kind of their biggest Achilles heel. If you go to that single exhaust, it's going to give them a lot better top end performance. So this does have a full Two Brothers, I believe it's the M2 or V2 full exhaust system, and just flows a lot better than stock. So that was awesome. That's about $1,000 exhaust, so it saves me quite a bit of money too in terms of buying an exhaust for this thing. Now, most drag strips, which I do plan on taking this thing to the drag strip, and most drag strips out there require the use of some type of emergency cutoff switch. So this has a PMR cutoff switch here. You just tether it to yourself here with this clip, and in the event that you fall off the bike, it cuts the engine's power so you don't have a runaway motorcycle, send it sailing down the track at some innocent bystander or the person you're racing. It also has a Schnitz Racing tune, so the ECU has been reflashed. Now what that reflash does is quite a few things. It eliminates the speed limiter on this bike. All these bigger CC motorcycles are speed limited to 186 miles an hour. Now that was basically a gentleman's agreement between all the major brands that they said, all bikes would go that speed, because let's be honest, that's fast enough. 186 miles an hour, that's moving. So that's gone. So this has the ability to go as fast as you can handle and as fast as it can handle. So maybe we'll find a mile-long track at some point, see how fast this thing goes. But for now, I don't really feel like testing that out. I am going to the drag strip, so this has had a couple other things done to it with the drag strip in mind. The RPMs are raised slightly. They're raised 500 RPM over stock with the reflash. Now, another thing that this tune does is it takes the butterfly valves. There's two sets of butterfly valves in this. One is connected to your throttle, and then there's a secondary set that are slightly above the throttle, and those control how quickly your bike gets, air into it. And it sounds funny because when you're full throttle, you're not necessarily full throttle. Those secondary butterflies are controlled by the ECU, and on the older bikes, the simple thing to do was just take those butterfly flaps out, and then they wouldn't hinder you. They'd still try and open and close to hinder that power, but it wouldn't matter if you took those flaps out. Now on the newer bikes, 2012 and up, the Kawasaki got wise to that, and they actually started to retard the ignition as well as slow the speed of those secondary butterflies opening. Now that's kind of good news, because it's even easier to tune that out. So with the reflash on the 2012 and up, they just tune that out. They make those, if you crack the throttle, those butterfly valves will open up at almost the same rate of speed as you opening the throttle. So they tune that out. So with that reflash, you get a ton more mid-range power. So you get a bigger boost in torque, and the power comes on a lot sooner through the low and mid-range with that reflash. And also the fans come on at a lower temperature. I think it's 194 degrees they set them to, and you could tell them to do a couple other things. So I'm sure the previous owner told them to, you know, add the addition of the exhaust, so they may have fattened it up a little bit or leaned it out a little bit, whatever they do to get the tune right for the exhaust. But you can still put a power commander on this in addition to the reflash DCU. But for now, it should be good, and it'll do anything I need it to do. But so that's the stuff that's done to the bike. What did I do to the bike so far? Well, I rode the bike. I put about 500 miles on this thing. And first thing I did, as soon as I got back from Connecticut, I took these lowering links and got rid of them because I don't like lowered bikes. It was pretty uncomfortable riding this thing lowered. So I took these off immediately, and now the bike, to me, in my opinion, rides a heck of a lot better. It's a lot smoother over bumps. It's not as jarring. So yeah, I got rid of those. So if anybody wants to buy lowering links, here they are. You know, get a hold of me through Facebook or Instagram, whatever. But there you go. Reason I said I think I got shafted on this bike is because this is a 2013 ZX14, and it did not come in this color combination. From everything I look at online, Parts Fiche, any OEM parts finder, this all black color was not an option for the 2013 model year. This was an option for the 2016 model year, which is where I believe these plastics came from. They look like somebody just took a 2016 for whatever reason, removed the bodywork from it, and put it on this 2013, and that's why I have this color combination on this bike. Now, in addition to swapping these panels over, I think they also took the dashboard from that 2016 and put it on this bike as well. Because in the previous video I mentioned that the ABS light was on this bike, and the reason the ABS light is on is because this bike doesn't have ABS, and the dashboard is asking me where it is. So yeah, this bike does not have ABS. Now, there are a few telltale signs that I could have picked up on really quickly when I went to look at the bike. Had I been educated and had I been looking for it, I would have been able to pick up on it right away. But I wasn't educated enough on it, and I trusted what the previous owner had to say. Now, no fault of the previous owner at all, because they didn't know that it didn't have ABS, because the person before them is the one who swapped all of this stuff out. Previous owner, the only thing they did is put a fresh set of tires on, which in an upcoming video I will have info on these fresh set of tires. And they got a bunch of various parts powder coated to complete that all black look. So they didn't even know that the dashboard had been swapped. And you know, it was 100% my fault. I didn't look it over. I'm not upset that it doesn't have the ABS. I mean, I'm a proficient braker. I can apply brakes very well, and I practice it nonstop. So I don't necessarily need ABS per se, but it would have been nice to know how to find this stuff ahead of time. And if you want to know, I can kind of go over it on this ZX14, just to give you a little brief overview on how to check this stuff. Now, one of the things that I checked when I went there is, you know, for an ABS system to work, it has to have an ABS ring. So these bikes do have ABS rings. Right there is what looks to be an ABS ring. Problem is, this bike also has traction control, so this ring serves double duty. All ZX14s from 2012 on came with traction control, so they're all going to have this ABS ring on them, or just speed sensor ring on them. It's also going to be on the front, which it is here as well. So this is the reason here why I thought the bike had ABS, because it has this speed ring. Had I done some more research, I would have discovered very quickly that it also could mean that it just has traction control, which all of these bikes do. Now the telltale sign for if this bike has ABS or not is very simple to see, and I really am kicking myself because I didn't even do this simple check. So this is the brake master cylinder right here, and if you follow this, which is the brake line, it goes from the master cylinder right here, and it goes back to the caliper. So if this had ABS, it would actually start here and it would go up this way into behind the battery box, where, as you can see, is very empty. That's where your ABS pump sits, is right there behind the battery. Now I took this cover off to verify that it did not have ABS, and if you look in there, there's not even a wire for ABS. So this is the quickest way to tell if your ZX14 has ABS. Just follow the rear brake line, and if it just goes back to the caliper, either the ABS has been removed or it doesn't have ABS to begin with. So my next thing is to figure out how the heck I get that ABS light off the dashboard, because that's irritating going down the road. I hate lights on the dashboard, and I especially hate lights on the dashboard that I have no way of turning off, because it doesn't even have the system it's saying is broken. So if anybody out there knows how I can turn that ABS light off when ABS isn't present at all, I'm all ears. Now the other thing that I'm concerned about is, since this dashboard is obviously not the one for this bike, there could be a potential issue with the mileage. So this technically could have more miles. I mean, if you're an optimist, it could have less miles than what it says. But I believe the mileage on bikes is stored inside the ECU. So regardless of what dashboard you have on the bike, I think the mileage is stored in the ECU. So as long as this is the factory ECU with just a reflash, I think that I'll be okay as far as the mileage is concerned. Again, if anybody knows about that, I was a little bit, I haven't been able to find any information really on it. I'm gonna keep reading through the service manual that I got for this, but yeah, if anybody has any idea out there, yeah, let me know in the comments below. But so that's just a little update. Like I said, I'm not sore that this happened. Again, it's my fault for not doing the research. It's not the previous owner's fault. You know, I should have checked this out better. I should have known better. And you guys could yell at me in the comments, hey, if there's a light on a dashboard, why don't you figure out what's going on with it before you purchase it? And it's something I would have told you guys in a video, and I think it's something I did tell you guys in a video, but I was excited. I love the ZX14. I've wanted one of these ever since they made that headlight change in 2012. I just think these bikes are awesome, and you know, I'm just going to continue to ride this thing. If I find that I can just take a dashboard that has no ABS light in it and swap it right over with no issue, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because that's just quick and easy. But I do have some things in the works with this. I will be working hand in hand with Cycle Hunters. If you didn't get to check those guys out, check out this video here. It's a great dealership. They sell used bikes, and they have an excellent 48-point checklist that they do on every single motorcycle they sell. I'm going to take my personal bike through it because I just bought this, and I'm going to show you guys what any bike you buy from them goes through before you pick one up. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. If there's any questions you have on this bike here, feel free to leave them in the comments below. But as always, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video, guys. I gotta put this thing back together because I want to go take it for a ride tomorrow. Thanks for checking the video out, guys. See you later.